Hey everybody, ever hear of a smart doll? Well, in today's video, we're going to cover exactly what a smart doll is. So stay tuned and find out. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Doll Life. I'm your host, Shizu-san, and we are now on episode 4. Okay, so I just want to do a quick apology to you, my viewers. I didn't make episode 4 last week because I was really sick and I couldn't really speak clearly, so I didn't think it was going to be a very good video. So I took the week off, sort of. I did do a unboxing video since I didn't really have to speak in that one, and you can see it right up here. That video was posted last week and you can watch it. Hopefully it was enough to keep you guys intrigued until today's episode. Okay, so before we get started with today's episode, I just want to cover the outline for today. So we are going to talk about what is a smart doll, who makes smart dolls, the design philosophy behind smart dolls, like how they're made and how they're designed. And then for the main part, we're going to talk about what smart dolls are available for you. And lastly, I want to cover the anime collaborations that are done with smart dolls. Alright, so what is a smart doll? A smart doll is a Japanese fashion doll, and it is in 1/3 scale, which is 60 centimeters or roughly 24 inches. It is made out of vinyl, and it's just like a Dolphy Dream in that sense, except there are some slight variations and differences. But all in all, that's basically what a smart doll is. So who makes smart dolls, right? Well, smart dolls are made by an individual named Danny Chu. Now, for those of you that don't know, Danny Chu, the best way I can describe him is like this internet personality kind of guy. He started a company called Culture Japan, and subsequently that's the name of his TV show. Now, there's 2 seasons of Culture Japan. I'm still waiting for the 3rd season. You said you were going to make one, Danny. Anyways, but basically it's a TV show that he made sharing Japanese culture for the world. So he goes around Tokyo and Shibuya, he goes around Osaka, Kyoto, and he introduces you into different things of Japanese culture. A lot of stuff anime related, but not everything. But the one thing that when you watch his videos that you'll notice is that he's always walking around with a Dolphy Dream. It's for the most part always Saber-chan, and when he does his interviews in his I guess his office or his studio, you can see a whole lineup of Dolphy Dreams around the studio. And I guess he loved them so much that he decided he wanted to make his own. So in Culture Japan, he had a mascot character named Mirai, and that was his inspiration to make his own 1/3 scale vinyl doll. And that was initially the very first release of smart dolls. But that's basically who makes them, Danny Chu. Well, okay, so we've covered the basics of what is a smart doll and who makes a smart doll. Now, let's talk about what sets smart doll apart, right? So I mentioned earlier that they're made out of vinyl. So there's 2 main differences that I like to point out. And for point of reference, it's not like I want to say this as in like a Dolphy Dreams versus smart doll things, but basically a Dolphy Dream has an internal skeleton. I mentioned that in my last video. A smart doll also has an internal skeleton, right? But it's made differently. I'll link a picture right up here. And as you can see, the spine of the smart doll is all ball jointed up. Like one ball, another ball, all to make the spines. And the reason for that is to make them more movable and posable. So you can move them much more than you could a Dolphy Dream. Now they both have the same movement, as in they can tilt downwards, tilt back, and tilt side to side like this, right? But the Dolphy Dreams has certain limitations where there comes to a point where it can't move anymore. And what this ball jointed spine does is it allows you to move them even further. To get those nice poses where they're laying down on their belly and looking up or something like that, or when they're turned around looking the other way for a different kind of a pose. it's a really fantastic design to make them move that way. Another thing that allows the spine to do that is that in Dolphy Dreams, now I didn't show this in my last video, but because I really don't want to display too much doll nudity, not that it's any real nudity, it's just I want to give the girls some privacy, right? So anyways, in Dolphy Dreams, underneath the bust, between the belly button and where the bust ends, right? I don't know if you could see it. Yeah, you don't need to see it, but you can get a visual in your head. Like right in between the belly button and where the bust is, there is a line that separates the body, and that's where the pivot is, right? So the way that that's the way Dolphy Dreams did it. So the way that Smart Doll does it is that to make it look better, they actually did the cutoff right under the bust line. Basically to where the bust comes around and it's cut off like underneath. So you can't really see it for a more natural look. So when you pose your dolls in something like a bikini or I don't know, like a halter top or something, I don't know, and you pose them in that way, it doesn't have this unsightly line going across the belly. It kind of looks more natural. To give you a description or an idea of it, I have this picture from Danny Chu's website. I'll show it right up here. So that's basically what it's going to look like. It looks a little bit more natural, right? So anyways, let's move on to another part. The next one I want to talk about is the vinyl itself. So I mentioned in my last video that Dolphy Dreams are made out of a very soft vinyl that to the touch it kind of feels like velvety smooth, right? So what Danny Chu decided to do was he wanted to make the vinyl harder. And I guess the reason why he did that is because he owned Dolphy Dreams before and he used to take them around. He realized that making them harder will make the doll more robust. Dolphy Dreams, in a sense, because the vinyl was soft, it made them not, I don't want to say so delicate, but it made them delicate to the point where you had to worry about staining a lot, or your hands, like whatever you touched, and then you touch the doll, it'll get really dirty. And when that happens, it makes it a little hard to clean. It's not that it's uncleanable, but it absorbs into the vinyl. So by hardening the vinyl, it brings the process of color staining and dirt absorbing into the vinyl much harder and much slower. So you have to do a lot more to your doll to get it really messed up. So the hardening closes the pore of the vinyls and it prolongs the staining process, so to speak. They still do stain. Let me just mention that. They are capable of staining, but staining them is much, much harder than staining on a Dolphy Dream, so to speak. And another way that he tested out, and if you watch his videos, he'll show you that every time you buy a Smart Doll or Smart Doll clothing, he'll include a small vinyl chip. Okay? It's a square chip that he can give to you so you can test it out on other clothings. It's the same chips that he uses in Culture Japan, where he wraps clothing in it that he wants to put dolls in, and he leaves it there for like, I don't know how long, maybe a week or a month, and then he takes it off to see if it's stained. And if it doesn't stain, that's the fabric and the color that he's going to use to make clothing out of for his dolls. And he gives it to you as a consumer so that you can test it out on other clothings that maybe not made for him, made by him, but you like to put on your dolls. So you can test it out to see if it stains or not. So, and those are the two main differences that I can think of right now that sets Smart Doll apart, because everything else is the same. They're made out of vinyl, they're 1/3 scale, so they're the same height. And like I mentioned in my other video, their clothing is interchangeable. So they can use certain clothing, you just gotta look at the labels and just make sure everything else is, is right, as long as in regards to like bust size and things like that. Okay, so what Smart Dolls are available, right? Well, his very first Smart Doll was Mirai. So let me get Mirai for you. Okay. So this is Mirai Suenaga. This is his very first Smart Doll. Now, she's wearing the original jeans that she came with, but a different top. This top was actually made by Puppy-chan. If you don't know her, You can follow her on Twitter at puppy52, I think, puppychun52. Um, she made this top for me. For, well, a bunch of people. She made a couple tops. I happened to buy one of them, but her clothing line is amazing. They're really cool. She also was the one that has designed some of the clothings that Danny Chu sells on Smart Dolls. I don't know how she worked that out, but she did. Anyways, getting back on topic, Mirai is wearing a different hair. She doesn't have her original wig, but this is Mirai-chan. Now, Mirai is what most people call a Mirai sculpt. So there are other dolls by Danny Chu, but the other dolls share Mirai's face. So they all have the same face sculpt, like the shape of the face and like, the way it's made, but they all have different makeups. So let me bring the second doll he ever made. So I bought that one. And this one is Kizuna. So here's Kizuna right here. So Mirai and Kizuna. And as you can see, their face, the shape, I don't know if it's coming out clearly. Sorry, I'm looking at the monitor to make sure you could see this. Their face is the same. In that it's made the same sculpting of the structure of the face. But the makeup is different. The eyes are different. The hair is different. The makeup is what people in the doll hobby call as face-ups. And face-ups is just generally the way the face is painted to give it a different look. So if you can see on the two girls, the eye shapes are the same, the mouth is the same, the general shape of the face is the same. The only difference is the color of the eyes, the hair that they wear, and the face-up, like the makeup. And that's really it. Let me put Kizuna back over here. So that's really it. They generally share the same face sculpt, the Mirai sculpt, and they all have the same body. The body is exactly the same. But this comes in a way that a lot of people have been talking about on the forums or on Twitter about all the dolls being the same. Now, first, let me start by saying that there is Mirai and Kizuna that I just showed you, right? He also made another one, another bunch called Ivory and Ebony. Now, Ivory I thought was going to be a white skin or semi-white skin doll, but she's really the same skin tone. She's just called Ivory with different eyes and different hair. And then Ebony was Danny Chu's first tan doll. And as far as I can tell, it's one of the first 1/3 scale tan dolls. I think Volks, before they released the D-Cord Lines tan doll, I think they had one way back in the day that was tan. I just don't know if that doll was vinyl or resin. If you do know, please comment in the comments below and just let me know, because I'm not 100% sure, but I know that they did make one. I just don't know if it was vinyl or tan. But Ebony is a tan doll made by Danny Chu, and she also shares the same face sculpt as Mirai. Another one that he made, now I know this one has got to be the first one, was Harmony. And Harmony is a darker skin tone doll, right? So let me put Mirai back for a second here. Okay, so let me link this for you. So here is Ebony, right? And here is Harmony. So they still share the same face sculpt, but the skin is different. So you got the tan skin and you have the darker skin tone. And as the other girls, different hair, different eye, and different face-ups. Now, there's a lot of debate, I guess you could say, on Twitter or on doll forums about people complaining that they all share the same face. You're essentially buying the same doll, and people are getting bored with it. Now, I understand where people are coming from when they say that, but I don't think it's something to be complaining about, okay? At least in my opinion. See, to me, the girls are all different, even though they share the same body and the same face sculpt. And the reason being is because the face up's different, the eyes are different, the hair is different, and their personalities are different. Because the face ups make them look different, I feel like they have different personalities. And even on, if you go to Danny Chu's website on Smart Dolls, each girl has their own backstory. So the backstory coupled with all that, I see them as different individuals and not the same repeated dolls. But if you want to go on a technicality, yes, they are the same doll body wise, same doll face sculpt wise. But the face ups, the makeup is different, the eyes are different, the hair is different, the personality is different, the backstory is different. And to me, that's enough for me to see them as different individuals and not the same thing. But to each his own. I mean, everybody has differences of opinion. This is just my opinion and how I feel about the different girls. Now, Danny Chu, I don't know if it's in response to this. I really don't know. But he decided to change the face sculpt. So now he made other dolls with different faces. So my favorite example, which is my favorite doll from Danny Chu right now, and you've seen her in prior videos, is Chitose. And if you watched last week's unboxing video, I didn't change her outfit because I think it looks adorable on her. She looks fantastic. So this is Chitose. This is Danny Chu's first attempt in changing, and I shouldn't say attempt, I should say success, in changing the face. So the face is a little bit different. If you can see here, it's a little bit more rounder than Mirai's. Let me bring her back so you can at least see a nice side-by-side comparison. Okay, so Mirai, Chitose, and sorry if I'm not looking at the camera, I just want to make sure they look right on the monitor. Mirai, Chitose, and look at their faces. You could see that the mouth is different, the shape of the eyes, like the way that they're cut out, is different, and the overall shape. I think Chitose is a little bit more rounder in the face, and Mirai is a little bit more oval shaped, I guess you could say. So Mirai, go hang out over here next to Kizuna, please. So they share the same body still, but this face up is different now. So she is the first one of Danny's dolls to have a different face than the Mirai sculpt, and I think she's an absolute success in my personal opinion because I love this doll. Chitose is my favorite. I take her around everywhere I go. Yeah. So this is Chitose. And so Danny Chu did make other dolls. So come on, hang out here with your sisters. So the other dolls I don't own, but I'll link pictures for you. So he came out with, let's see, I want to say 3 other dolls, at least for the females. So one face sculpt is Twilight and Kurenai, and I'll link Twilight right up here. This is Twilight. She's tan, and Kurenai is exactly the same, but different eyes, different wig, a little bit different face up, I think, and she's in a milk color, or the Mirai regular skin tone color. And then Julia, which over here has, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it looks to me like it's the same face. I could be wrong. Maybe there's slight differences. I think hers is a little bit different. But I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the differences between Twilight and Kurenai and Julia. But Twilight is available right now, and Julia is available right now. And Twilight comes in a milk color, which maybe I should restate that. It's still called Twilight Milk Color. It's not called Kurenai. So maybe Kurenai is a totally different face sculpt. But she's not available on Danny's website right now. So right now is only Twilight in tan, or Twilight Milk Color, and Julia over here. And those are Danny Chu's other dolls that are different from the Mirai sculpt and different from the Chitose sculpt. Another thing that Danny Chu did, he took it one step further, I guess you could say, and he made a male vinyl doll named Eiji. And Eiji comes in 2 different colors as well. So you have Eiji Seiyun, right? And then you have Eiji's counterpart, Crimson, which is the tan version. So, as far as I know, Okay, AG is the first male vinyl doll. And I've said this before to friends and in other panels I've hosted. And there was one time I was actually corrected by somebody. So maybe those of you watching right now can correct me as well in the comments below. But I've been told by somebody else that there was another male doll made. And I was told it was made by Obitsu. And basically what it was a torso. It was like a girl doll, but instead of a bust, it was just a flat bust to resemble like a male, I guess. And you just use the girl arms and legs, and even the same head, and you just face it up differently. You make a custom face up to make it look like a boy. I don't know how much this is true or not. Supposedly, it is. I don't know, to be honest. But as far as I know from my research and what I've done and looking around in forums, I think Eiichi's the first male vinyl doll. Um, but if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments below. I'd really like to know. So those are the two different versions that AG comes out with, is in milk color and in a tan color. Um, that goes without saying, though. The same thing for the girls. That even though Mirai was released in her regular color, Danichu has, upon demand, now has released Kizuna, Mirai, and Chitose in tan. So you can get those girls in tan. I think he also did a Chitose in a darker skin tone, which is the cocoa skin tone. Oh, actually, I didn't even go over that. So the skin tones, normal skin tone is milk color, tan is called tea color, and the darker skin tone is called cocoa color. So I know Chitose comes in a cocoa color as well. And that's generally it. Those are the dolls that are available to you from Smart Doll as the original Smart Doll line, I guess you could say. Okay, so now let's go over the anime collaborations. Now, originally, when Danichu first started doing Smart Dolls, it was all going to be his original dolls, like Mirai and Chitose and Kizuna and all them. And he never said he was going to make anime dolls. He never mentioned it. And then he did. I think he said in a video once or in a tweet, he tweeted out once that he didn't mention them because he wanted to keep the Bothan spies from finding out what he was up to. If for those of you that don't know, it's a Star Wars reference. But anyways, getting back to it, what's it called? Anime collaborations, right? So his very first doll that he came out as an anime collaboration was from Girls und Panzer, and it was Miho Nishizumi. That was his first one. I'll link a picture for you right there. So that's Miho. That was the very first Smart Doll. Now, he has plans to release another Girls und Panzer doll. I think it's Yukari. If you follow Danichu on Twitter or on his Instagram or on his website, he has hinted to it and he has asked about it, which girl you would like to see next from Girls und Panzer. But I've seen Yukari in the background of one of his pictures. If I can find it, I'll link it. But if I can't find it, then whatever. Just check it out. And then he's also tweeted out, like, what other anime shows would we like to see made into Smart Dolls? And people have weighed in and different things. And he's finally decided on, I think, 2 shows now. So Cowboy Bebop is going to be another show. And Code Geass. Now, with Cowboy Bebop, he already made Spike prototypes. So he's not released yet, but Spike is going to be the first one. I'm really hoping he's going to make a Faye, because Faye is awesome. But Spike is the first one. I will link a picture as soon as I can find it, and I'll put it right up here. But that's supposedly a prototype of what Spike's going to look like. And then he did Code Geass, and he's hinted on characters, but his first announced character that he's making is Lelouch. So, Lelouch. Lelouch will be released very soon, depending when I put this video out. But I think when I put this video out, there will be a prototype for you to see in his store and a prototype at Isetan in Japan. And if you don't know, Isetan is a department store in Japan where Danny Chu has dolls. I'll go into that later. But you can see him there. Supposedly there's a prototype up. And he has a prototype that he's hinted at of Cece. There's been pictures of her scattered around the internet. And he's hinted at making Suzaku and Villetta. But I haven't seen prototypes of them yet, but he's hinted at it, and he's shown different prototypes of eyes that could hint to that. But so far, those are his anime collaboration lines. He has hinted at maybe doing Dirty Pair, and he's also done some signings recently. From what I've seen was Marvel, I think, Kotobukiya, maybe Frame Arm Girls. He has a prototype of a Frame Arm Girl already. Picture, right there. But I don't know. He's got a lot of things in the works, a lot of plans. Just got to stay tuned. Follow him on Twitter. Follow him on his website to find out more. But he does have an anime collaboration line. And like I said earlier, as far as I know, Miho Nishizumi is the first one that's already been released. Lelouch from Code Geass should be coming out soon, and Spike from Cowboy Bebop will be coming out soon. Okay, so lastly, I just want to go over quickly some news here. If you live in the tri-state area in the United States, it's usually referred to as New York, New Jersey, or Pennsylvania. And the reason why I bring that up is because April 29th and April 30th of 2017, there's going to be an anime convention called Castle Point Anime. And it's held at the Stevens Institute of Technology. And I will be presenting 2 doll panels there. So if you're in the area, please stop by, come see me and my panels, come see my dolls. If you're a current doll owner, come on down and come see me at the panel, and then afterwards we can all hang out, maybe do a photo shoot and get to know each other. Alright, well that ends today's episode of Doll Life. I'm your host Shizu-san, and that is the end of episode 4. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was informative for you. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down in the comment section below, and I will respond to them as soon as I can. And please follow me on Instagram or Twitter. I will also link them right down below. And if you can, please hit the subscribe button. I'm going to put it right up here. Just subscribe to me so you can get to see all my new videos, and it will notify you when they come out. So that's everything for now. Thank you again for watching. This is Shizu-san and Chitose from Doll Life, signing off.